So, with that being said, Sharon, where do you think we are from a prophecy standpoint?
Well, Derek was talking earlier about how we're writing a book now trying to identify the actual names of the writers, who these entities are, because they are spirit beings. They are the dead trying to come back and control the living. Um, we believe that those writers began their ride in the first century. We believe that in the book of Revelation, when you see the Lamb who arrives at the throne and he stands in the midst of the throne, and he has clearly just been, he's just arrived because he's arriving as a lamb that's been slain. This is our Messiah. This is our substitution. This is the Lord that died for us. And he's victorious and he's arriving in heaven. And the Lord God Almighty, Yahweh, has a scroll in his right hand, and nobody is allowed to open it. Nobody has the right to open it. And everybody is weeping, including John, who's watching all of this. And when the Lamb arrives, the Father hands it over, and the Lamb takes this scroll. It is the deed, it is the ownership, it is the redemption for all of mankind and the earth. It is an indictment, a judgment against the fallen realm, against the rebels, against Leviathan. And the Lord
Yes.
begins to open the seals. And we believe that that happened in the first century. And those writers started out, and periodically they have a much larger influence on the world. You know how Jesus in Matthew 24 said that it would be like birth pangs? When a woman first starts to feel like she's getting maybe ready and she's maybe just a few weeks away from delivery, and she starts to get those first pangs that are actually Braxton Hicks. It's really your body getting ready to give birth. And then they start for real sometime after that, maybe weeks after that. And then they start very light. And then they get heavier and closer together and heavier and closer together. We're at that time where they are very close together, and daddy's standing over to the side, and the doctor's standing there all ready to catch the baby. We are that close. Jesus is he's standing at the very doors. And we believe that all four of the first seals have been opened. The fifth seal shows you the effect that those writers have on the world. And you've got all of these souls beneath the altar who are asking, how long, O Lord? How long? They've been waiting for more than 2,000 years. How long, O Lord, they're asking, because some of these people died in the Old Testament.
Yeah. Yeah, Nehemiah mentions how the prophets were killed. So this goes back a long ways.
So they're waiting and they're waiting and they're waiting. And finally, we believe when the fifth seal is opened and that great earthquake happens. We have a friend who's written a great book called Sixth Seal, sorry. Earthquake Resurrection. And he talks about how when Jesus resurrected, that the power coming from his body was like a mini nuclear blast. That's how some physicists have described it. And this power radiated throughout the mantle of Jerusalem. And what do we read? We read that that the graves were opened.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who had been dead were walking around the city. And the people were amazed. Not only was Jesus, who was the first fruit of the first resurrection, not only was he alive again, but he brought others with him.
Yeah.
So that earthquake resurrection power, when we who are alive, along with those who are waiting in their graves, when we are transformed, imagine the power that will go through the earth then.